Good afternoon, guys. How are we? Welcome to the live stream. Trader Tom here, and I'm with you for the next 45 minutes. And we're going to look through trades that I am in. So we're in a couple of trades, a couple of new ones today, and we've also got a trade from our indicator as well. So I'm going to share those three trades with you. We are also going to reveal the winner of the $5,000 challenge, guys. All right, so we're going to reveal that very shortly. So if you entered yesterday, then brace yourself, because we are going to play the Wheel of Fortune, and we're going to find out who has won the $5,000 funded challenge. What else are we going to do? We're going to take as many of your questions as we can. So ask as many questions as you like about trading, guys, right? Don't be shy. Come say hello, leave a question, leave a few questions. And also, guys, I don't know why I'm looking so grey today. I'm not sure why. Something to do with my camera, I'm not sure. But there you go, guys. I'm not green around the gills. I've actually got a wonderful tan. I haven't really. And Merry Christmas. Is it too early to say Merry Christmas? We've got our tree up, which we're quite excited about. But done no Christmas shopping as yet. So that might be a little bit last minute, but we have got our tree up. Yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone. So I think we should start by revealing the winner of the $5,000 challenge from yesterday. And as soon as we've done that, guys, we'll get into the charts. We'll look at the trades I'm in. And also we'll take a look at what you're in, guys. So if any of you are in a trade, please share it with me, and we can analyze that trade live together. So let's do it. Let's have a drum roll, please. Okay, we got a professional drummer in, especially for this. We didn't really. So that is everyone that entered, guys. All right. So if you joined our free Discord and answered the question in the Discord, you were entered for the challenge. So this is it. We are going to spin the wheel to see who has won the $5,000 funded challenge. Let's do this. Are you ready? It's very exciting. You can feel the tension. Here we go. So who's it going to be? So SP King 1, you have won a $5,000 funded challenge courtesy of Blueberry Funded or E8 Markets. And guys, because I am feeling particularly generous, we are also going to have one more winner. So SP King, please get in touch on the Discord and claim your prize. But we're going to do it one more time. Let's have another winner. Here we go. I feel like a game show host. Come on down. Neil Batia, you are also a winner. So Neil, please come DM us on the free Discord, our trading community, and claim your prize. So that's Neil and SP King. Congratulations. Right, back to the trades that I am in. So let's understand them, guys. So the first one is Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, right? This is the first trade that I'm in. I've actually started trading this yesterday, took some profit, then got back into the trade today as well. And I'm going to explain why I did that, because this happens a lot, right? So if we just look at the day chart to understand the bigger picture to start with, right? So we was in this uptrend, right? And now we're in a downtrend. Yeah, started to get lower highs, only just, but we're definitely getting lower lows, right? We're in a downtrend. Plus, you know, we spoke about this yesterday as well. What was once support becomes very good resistance. And we got a nice bearish candle bounce off of that level as well. All right, so lots of confluence, lots of reasons to sell Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar on the day chart, right? And obviously, you know, lots of room to move into, potentially down to here, if not further, right? So there's the daily. I'm going to take a quick look at the weekly because, yes, we are in an uptrend, right? You don't have to be Warren Buffett to see that. But look at last week's candle, right? We're pretty overbought up here. We're quite away from the smart river, which is part of our price action indicator. So we're a little bit overextended, and we've got a big weekly bearish candle, and we've got a daily downtrend. So lots of reasons to like this trade. Okay. Now, the bugger of trading is there's lots of reason to like the trade. It may still not work out, but we're just trying to tilt, you know, probability in our favor. So weekly and daily tell me I can sell it. If we drop down to the H4 now, I'm going to show you exactly what I did, right? So this was quite an aggressive trade, actually, because we was in a H4 uptrend, right? And we still are, really. We haven't broke these lows, right? We haven't broke these lows. Are we potentially seeing a head and shoulders pattern, right? Potentially, right? Potentially. So I traded this from yesterday. So if we go down to the hourly chart now, you can see here, price started just going a little bit sideways on the H1. This was a H1 entry, guys. I will do this from time to time. If I want to be, let's say, a little bit aggressive with the entry. And we got this push up. We got this, you know, break of this low. All right. And then pretty much I entered, right? I started entering as this candle almost finished, and put my stop up here. And then basically, guys, I took profit at these lows here. It didn't quite hit my TP, but because this is clearly a last low, I took some profit, and I'm very glad I did, right? Look at that. So if we go back to the H4 now, right, you can see that is an important level because it is the last H4 swing low, right? So it's very important, and that's why I took some profits. The price came shooting down, right? And I took profit in here, and I closed 70% of my trade, left my stop loss where it is. And, you know, this is ultimately the target. As I said, guys, I'll probably leave some profit to run, potentially back down to here in this 114 level. But I've entered this trade again today, right? So as price retraced today, I started selling from pretty much exactly the same spot as where I was yesterday. Put my stop in the same spot, put my target in the same spot. All right, so took some nice profit, got back into this trade because I still like the setup, right? Nothing's changed. In fact, the setup's got better because of that daily candle. If I go back to the day chart, right, I liked that wick rejection. Now look at this wick rejection, right? There's even a stronger bearish candle and a bit more confluence to take the trade, right? Now, this is where I'm at. So I haven't taken any profit on this trade as yet because price just come back up, entered, stopped. We'll see how this Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar sell trade plays out. All right. And again, guys, if you want all of my trade ideas, right, please just go check out the Discord. Yeah. So these are all my trade ideas in here, guys. Every day you will see them. You might not be able to see this on TikTok, guys, but yeah, every day there's my trade ideas. Okay. Those were yesterday's trade ideas as well. So come join the free Discord. We've got a great little trading community. You'll also see from that list that Euro Aussie dollar was one of my trades, one of my trade ideas, and now I've entered it. Okay, so if we go to the day chart, again, you know, what I'm showing you guys is a bit rinse and repeat, right? I'm putting enough confluence, giving myself enough reasons to take the trade, right? So again, with this one, guys, right, we were kind of building up using this trend line, and then bang, right, we've broken down. Breaking that last low there was the real important break, right? And we've been in a downtrend ever since. And again, just yesterday, right, we had a very bearish daily candle, right? That's what I'm looking for. Downtrend, bearish candle, room to move into, which it does have, right? All right, so this is everything I'm looking for in a trade, bouncing off a nice area of support or resistance, right? Lots of things to like here as well. As always, I'll take a quick look at the weekly. And if you look at the weekly, guys, we're pretty much ranging between here and here. We've got this super big bearish weekly candle, and there's still that room to move into, right? And that's what I'm trying to do with this trade. If we drop down to the H4 now, guys, while I look at this, please don't forget to say hello, and please leave a question, right? You're here to learn, you're here to understand trading. So please ask as many questions as you like. And if I look slightly green today, I don't know why. I'm like the Grinch today at Christmas. Where was I? Yeah, Euro Aussie dollar. And now I'm in this trade, right? You can see this level here, guys, right? Again, what was once support, right, becomes very good resistance. Support, right? It is. Again, you know, this is not me making things up, right? This is not me just creating stuff off the top of my head. I'm showing you facts on a chart, right? So support, fact. When price breaks it, it typically becomes good resistance, right? Fact. I've hit my stop loss all the way up here above this high, given my trade a lot of room. And I've been doing that recently, guys, because the markets have been very volatile, right? They've been sort of having these wild moves in, opposite directions, only for it to crash back down afterwards. So I'm allowing for that with these stop losses. All right. And basically, guys, I've got in at that level. I saw this, small wick rejection here. And then I said to myself, if price comes back up to that level, I will get in. Right. Planned it ahead of time. That's what happened. I started selling, and that is the Euro Aussie dollar sell trade that I am in. All right, so let's see how that plays out as well. I also liked Euro New Zealand dollar, but because I was in Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar sells, this Euro Aussie dollar sell is almost offsetting some of the risk there, right? And then what else? And then we had a indicator trade. All right, so let me explain to you the indicator that we have, guys, right? So it's built purely on price action, right? Let me just do this, right? So it's built purely on price action. It's built on how I trade. So we've taken everything, that I use and trade with price action, and we've put it into an indicator, right? And we're very proud of it. So yeah, so check it out, guys, right? It's if you struggle to read charts and you want a clearly defined strategy, which is very difficult to stray from, come get involved with our indicator, right? It is subscription based, but you'll make your money back on that indicator for sure, right? So yeah, come get involved, guys. Now, this was an indicator trade. Okay, so I'm not going to get off the H4. You don't need to leave the H4 chart when it comes to indicator trades, right? It tells you that the daily is bearish. It tells you that the H4 is bearish. Okay, and then we're looking for a reaction candle, which, as you can see, if I zoom in a little bit, we get here, right? We get our reaction candle in here. at our smart river. So this smart river is also part of the price action indicator, right? So that's it, right? There's a few other things you need to abide by, but go check out the indicator. I won't give everything away, but it's just very good at keeping you very disciplined, right? So again, if you struggle with discipline, guys, come check out the indicator. And we're in, right? It ticks all the boxes, started selling here, stop here, going to take profit back down to here. So we'll see how this indicator trade goes. And as always, guys, if you want all of my trade ideas, please come join our free Discord channel, right? The link is in the video description. And if you want actually my entries, stop losses, take profits, how I manage the trade, numerous strategies and tutorials, then please come join our VIP Trading Academy as well. All right. And you'll get free access to that if you sign up with Pepperstone using our link. All right. So go check all of that out. Right. Let's see who we've got in the house. Sorry, guys. I get very carried away when I start talking. That is it. In fact, let me have a drink. Nothing like listening to someone gulp down a mic. Luigi, hi, how are you? Nero, Emperor Nero, hi. Nicholas, hi. Fomaleko, hi, how are you? Can you please look at gold? Yeah, no problem. Mr. Billionaire, I am selling Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, as I just explained. Hi, Jane. Hi, Path. Some young guy. Yeah, I agree. So the indicator looks good. Maybe Arnie Slot should use it to shore up Liverpool's back line. Yes. We don't talk about football. We drew with Sunderland at home. You've got to really win those games. So thank you for bringing that up and slightly depressing me. And we got another one here. Dre Bliss. Can we look at Canadian dollar, Swiss franc? Looking at sells. Okay then, guys. Right, so let's look at gold first. As Famaleko, you were first. And then Dre Bliss will take a look at CAD Swiss franc as well. We are also streaming this on TikTok. So let me just say hello to the TikTok massive. Hi. And on TikTok, guys, you can ask a question. So don't be shy. Come ask a question. And please leave me a rose. I don't know what that means, but it's something on the live stream. Anyway, it makes me laugh because, I always think of my old man and if I explain to, he's no longer with us, but if I explain to him that this is what I, do for a living, I look at funny candles on a chart, right? And then I share it with other people. My old man, it just blow his mind. He'll be like, what do you do? Sorry. Yeah, so yeah, it just makes me laugh every time I think of that. Gold, right? Let's have a look at gold. It's not your normal 9 to 5, and thank goodness for that. Right, let's have a look at gold. Let's trade it how I would normally. Let's analyze it how I would analyze it, right? So this is pretty much how quickly I would dispel gold. I'll wake up in the morning. I would say, right, we're in a daily uptrend, right? We're at resistance. There's not much room in there. No trade. Seriously, that's what I would do, right? When I share my trade ideas on the free Discord, right? It's basically, I apply a daily filter, right? Using price action to 28 currency pairs, gold, silver, indices, oil, right? And that would not be a trade for that reason. Now, when I would become interested in gold would be a break of this resistance, right? And then I think we have room to take it back up to these highs over here, right? Or we ended up getting something like this and we got a breakdown in structure. Then I would become a gold seller, potentially back down to this level here. So that's what I want to see at the moment is, you know, is a bit of no man's land, right? You know, there's an argument for selling. We're at a resistance level. We're starting to see some bearish candles come in. That's a good argument for selling, right? But there's a good argument for buying, right? We're in an uptrend, right? We've got these bottom wicks here, right? We could buy it, but we're at resistance. So, you know, I don't want all of that conflict. And if I'm buying the market, right, I don't want there to be a good argument for selling it. Okay. And then obviously I would look at the weekly chart as well. And that's one of contradiction, right? We've got big bullish weekly candle, but it's at resistance. And we've got all this sellers, you know, there's sellers in here, right? Fact, the market's shown you there's sellers in there, right? So would gold potentially push up into here? Yeah, maybe, right? Before we start seeing sellers again. But I just don't want to push my luck into that level, right? Again, yeah, if it breaks it, I'm a gold buyer. If it breaks down, I'm a gold seller, right? Don't go into the market thinking, right, I want to trade gold. You know, you've got so many assets to choose from, right? You've got 28 currency pairs. So why try to force something like this when other setups are much more clearer to take, right? So yeah, for that reason, I'm not interested in gold for Maleco. So I hope that helps. Dre Bliss. I like the name. Sound like a gangster rapper. And I love gangster rap. I love hip hop. I love a bit of Nas. I love all the old stuff. You know, I like Dre, I like Snoop, but I love a bit of Nas. Go check him out. And that's not the NASDAQ. That's Nas the rapper. He's the man. Right, Canadian dollar, Swiss franc. I'm looking to sell right now. All right, I get that. I get that as a trade. So again, let's start with the day chart, right? So ultimately, this is probably more of a weekly structure, but we're ranging, right? And we're at the top of the range. So selling from that level does make sense in that respect, okay? And also, right, look how the candles have changed, right? We're starting to see top wicks, and then we've got our first bearish candle in quite some time. So get my teeth in. I haven't been drinking. It did sound like I've been drinking. But sellers are, you know, slowly taking control here. Now, what I don't like about it is potentially this is a uptrend, right? That candle did break all of these highs in here. But ultimately, right, if you said to me, Tom, you have to trade this, I would sell it, right? Because we're at the top of that range and we're seeing bearish candles. But it didn't make my, you know, my hot list. What do you call it? Not my trade idea list. Got to think of a better name for it. So yeah, I can understand sales. I would probably just aim for, you know, down to here, right? Although the whole entire range could be completed. But let's have a look at the weekly now as well, right? Now, the weekly would also suggest sales are a good idea, right? We're in this downtrend, and this is that range I spoke about, right? We're at the top of this range. You know, we're starting to see these top wicks. Price is holding on to this resistance level. On the daily, we're getting bearish candles. Can we take it back down to these lows? Quite possibly, right? Now, yeah, I'm leaning more towards sales. Absolutely. It didn't quite make my trade idea list, but yeah, I mean, you know, this is looking good, right? You can see we were sort of building up, and we've just kind of, and now we've broken down, right? So yeah, I like this as a potential trade bliss, right? You've got this nice bearish candle in here as well, right? That's bounced off our smart river. Yeah, and potentially sells, you know, potentially aim for these lows. Where is that low? Yeah, bang at that 5,700 psychological level. So yeah, I like this trade. Yeah, I do. So yeah, like you're thinking, Dre Bliss. Who else have we got in? So Nero is just telling us he is in a gold sell. All right, so let's take a look at that. And guys, please don't forget, please get as many questions over to me as you like. And it can be to do with anything to do with trading, right? Strategy, money management, psychology. Maybe you're looking at a currency pair right now. Maybe you need help with something that you're just struggling with. So, you know, please let me know and I will happily talk about that subject. So don't be shy, guys. Come ask a question. There's no such thing as a silly question. There is. Don't ask silly questions. Nero's in a gold sell H1. So I'm assuming H1 is in a downtrend and Nero has taken this trade. There's this level here for me. Just immediately when I looked at the H1, it's that level there. That is a key level. It'd probably be the that's a H4 level. Sorry, that's H4, but that level is important to me right now. If we look at the H1, which is what Nero entered on, right, yes, we're seeing a H1 breakdown, right? You can see price shot back up. It was in a downtrend here, right? We was downtrend, back at these highs, still a downtrend, uptrend, broke these highs, then bang, downtrend. So it just goes to show, guys, this is an important point, right? Is how, you know, how many times did trend change on the H1? The lower the time frame, the less reliable the trend, and therefore the less reliable the levels you're looking at, right? It goes without saying, right? You know, daily trend is much, much harder to break than H1, right? A daily trend can take weeks to break. A H1 trend can take, you know, you can have two different trends in a day. So it's important to point that out, guys. You need to be careful when you start trading lower time frames. So I do use the H1 to, you know, to refine entries, right? But I don't necessarily rely on it for trend. All right, so just worth pointing that out. But yeah, I mean, look, it's you know, we love this setup. It doesn't matter what time frame this is, but once you get a break of these lows, right? You get a break, then a retest, right? It's a good level to start selling. Okay, potentially taking it back down to these lows, if not further, right? So your stop loss is literally above that high. Okay, and you've entered at 42,000. Okay, so Nero's put his stop here. He's basically entering here, and I assume you're just looking to take price back down to these lows. So if we just looked at the H1, that would be a good trade, right? It makes sense. But let's have a look at the H4. It makes less sense. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense, but this level is important. You know, if you're just aiming for this level, okay, I wouldn't, you know, I would need to see a break of this level. Then I can consider selling it down to here, right? You know, and on the H4, are we starting to see lower highs? I would say we are. We just haven't broken these key lows here, right? So it's quite an aggressive trade, I would say, but I get it, right? And also, as we explained on the day chart, we are at a resistance level. And yesterday we had this big bearish candle. Well, not big bearish, but that is a bearish candle, right? So yeah, let's keep an eye on it, Nero. I mean, judging by the H1, right, it's coming down, looking okay. We got a question here from Supreme Trades. Targets for gold sells. It depends. I need the market to do certain things before I look for sells, right? Now, this level down here makes sense to me. I would say this is not a significant enough level, right? Now, we've pinpointed that level on the H4, right? And interestingly, right, it's quite an interesting daily level. What might happen is this, right? Because you're between resistance and support, you might get a little bit of sideways action. And as I said, if it breaks this level, I'm buying. If it breaks that level, I'm selling. And the next logical area to take gold sells to would be the next support level, right? So I would aim for this level in here. And you've still got, you know, more than enough pips to make some nice profit in that level, in that trade. And to be honest with you guys, because I'm an intraday trader, you know, I might be in the trade like that. It breaks down on the H4, we get a retest, I take some profit, right? Back at these lows, we get a retrace, right? I sell again, we get, you know, take it back down to these lows. Yeah, perhaps we get this again, I sell again. You know, I'll be in and out of this trade potentially a few times between here and here, right? If it just does that, then I won't, right? But if we get that, you know, trend that comes down and we can get some retraces in, then yeah, we can make some nice profit on the way down. But right now, I'm not interested until we get a break of those levels. So I hope that helps. Supreme Trades, Trade S, sorry, get it right, Tom. So the Bujelemfo, I'm sure I've pronounced that incredibly badly. I'd like to apologize for my pronunciation. What's the name of this indicator? So guys, if you go to our website, www.simply-forex.com, and you go to our Price Action Pro 101 indicator, right? It will show you everything you need to know about the indicator. And then if you join our free Discord room, right, you can see the results of our indicator, right? And it's just doing well. It's just doing so well. And, you know, we got a group of traders trading it as well. So you have a community of traders trading the indicator, and they all help each other and support each other. Like I say, it is subscription based, but look, you know, it's worth its value. So yeah, go check it out. It's on the website, and join our free Discord if you want to see the results. Also, guys, while I'm at it, don't forget the Pepperstone promotion. If you sign up with Pepperstone using our link, we will give you free access to the VIP Trading Academy. We will also give you a free price action masterclass with over 4 hours of trading knowledge and expertise, right? So go check that out. Andrea, pound US dollar stronger. Yes, pound yesterday, we saw some real strength in the pound yesterday. I mean, just look at that candle, right? You know, and we spoke about this, right? We was like, look, we are in an uptrend, and it had retraced to a nice level, right? Again, what was once resistance became support, and we got a, you know, not super bullish, but a bullish candle. Now, I didn't like this trade, right? I mean, hindsight's a beautiful thing. We should have been buying it, but it was, yeah, it was just this level through here, which is really the last, you know, kind of low on the weekly. Yeah, it just, yeah, I didn't like the trade, but, you know, we just saw absolute pound strength come into the market yesterday. And now it's at another interesting level, right? Because you can see this level through here, right? Price has just reacted so many times through this level. So let's see what it does here. Obviously, I don't want to start selling that level, right? Look how bullish that candle is. But I don't want to start buying into that level either. So pound US dollar is a bit of a stay away from me. And as Andreas said, let's have a look at the dollar index. Yeah, there you go. So that's US dollar weakness. That has broken a very key level, right? So a couple of my trade ideas today actually were US dollar weakness, right? If you saw my trade ideas from earlier, you'll see New Zealand US dollar buys, right? I like that. Also from my trade ideas, I was looking at Euro US dollar buys and US dollar Swiss franc sells, right? So yeah, we like that. And look at the dollar index. That really supports that idea. We've had a candle that's broken these lows, right? I was thinking potentially we might range for a little bit between here and here, right? But we haven't. US dollars become weak quickly, and we've got a break of structure. Now, what you need to be looking for is the next level of support. So, we are bearish dollar until this level here. Let me drag this across, right? Until we get to that level, right? And then if it breaks that level, right, we're bearish dollar till we get down to this level, right? So that's what I'll be keeping an eye on. Obviously, I don't trade the dollar index, but I'll be keeping an eye on that for trading the dollar majors, right? And as we mentioned, US dollar, Swiss franc, let's have a look here. Right, yeah. What I've said to myself here, guys, right? If we look at the daily chart, and you look at my alarm. Now, ultimately, we're in a bit of a range here as well. I mean, it's kind of ultimately we're doing that. And we looked at Canadian dollar, Swiss franc. A lot of those Swiss franc pairs are ranging, right? So can we come back down to the bottom of the range? Now, this bearish candle, it is nicely bearish, didn't quite break that low, but it's still very bearish. And we've had a nicely bearish H4 candle, right? We really have. But there's not much value here for me, right? If I start selling here, I just want price to come back up a little bit. And if it comes back up to these highs, then I will start trading it. If that alarm goes off and price comes back up to here, I'll start trading it with a view to putting stops above here and looking to get my 1:1 first of all. If not, let some profit run. But it just, yeah, it hasn't retraced enough. And also, guys, you have to bear in mind, I am in US dollar, Canadian dollar sells. So I'm already trading one US dollar weakness, right? Although, yeah, so we'll see how this one goes as well. We also spoke about Euro US dollar. Yeah, it's similar to US dollar, Swiss franc. I mean, if you look at the daily, right, we've broken that level. It's like the inverse of the dollar index, obviously, right? It was in this range, right? And then we got the candle that broke those last highs. Can we take it potentially, just back up to here? Yes, right? I think there's some room there. Now, again, the problem with this trade is it just hasn't retraced into value. I just wanted a bit of a deeper retrace. And this smart river is a really good area for that. So this is part of our Price Action Pro indicator, right? So go check it out. And if I get a retrace into here, I just know I'm getting good value. And just look how price obeys the level, right? Look, back to our price action indicator river, back to it again, back to it again, right? And it just keeps obeying it. So this is where I want to trade from, right? Not here. There's not enough value there. I need a bit of a deeper retrace. So yeah, US dollar weakness is definitely the theme for today and potentially the next couple of days because we've broken out of that range on the dollar index. What else are we looking at? Supreme Trades. Thanks, mate. You're very welcome. Trade S, sorry. Keep saying trades, but Trade S. You're very welcome. No problemo. What else are we looking at, guys? Let's just take a quick look at the trades that I am in. Okay, so Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar's not doing much. All right, but yeah, still in that trade. Let's have a look at Euro, Aussie dollar. Okay, this is what we want to see, right? We're getting a nice bounce off of that level right now. So yeah, absolutely what we want to see. Let's hope that H4 candle remains like that, although we do have another hour and 20 minutes before it finishes forming. And US dollar CAD, right? That's the other trade that I'm in. And this was a price action pro indicator trade. So let's see. Again, I would like to see this H4 candle. As I said, we've still got an hour and 20 minutes to close back in. Even if it's green, that's not a problem. But I just want it to keep closing back into these wicks. So it tells me that sellers are picking up momentum in here, right? And potentially take price lower. Okay, we've got Gibbonization. Okay, wants to look at Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay, let's have a look at Bitcoin. Before I do, guys, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash the notification button, and please smash that like button. And if you're on TikTok, apparently you've got to give me a rose. Very romantic. It's not even Valentine's Day. I think that's the thing on TikTok. You have to give roses. Yeah, let's see. Right, guys, what else are we looking at? Okay, yeah, Bitcoin. All right, let's have a look at Bitcoin. Now, looking at the daily, right, it's holding on to this last high here. Right? We know Bitcoin has had a huge sell-off. Right? The Bitcoin or kryptonites, as I like to call them, were laughing at 126,000, less so at 82,000. Right? But does this present an excellent buying opportunity to get in? Right? That's the burning question for, you know, everyone looking at Bitcoin right now. Now, one thing to think here is it's just what Warren Buffett says. So he says, you know, when everyone else is fearful, you need to be greedy. And I totally agree, right? When you're looking to hold things for the long term, like I hold stocks, right? I hold FTSE 100 stocks for the long term. I would hold Bitcoin for the long term. I wouldn't intraday trade it, right? Currencies I will intraday trade. Right? But something, if you're, you know, once price comes down to here, it's bargain basement. It's cheap. Now, whether it wants to come down a bit more or whatever, it doesn't matter. Just, you know, in here somewhere, just buying in here means you have got Bitcoin at a very cheap price, right? This is premium price. That's what you don't want to pay for it. This is bargain basement price. And that's Warren Buffett's point, right? When everyone else is fearful, be greedy because you're going to get a very good deal, so to speak. Now, from a technical point of view, right, we have not broken this last low, this last high here. That's the last significant high. Now, if we got a candle that broke through that, I would consider that an uptrend. This is the last low, right? And you could potentially start buying from there. So that's what I'd be looking for buys, right? But if we got a big bearish candle form today, then is there more room back down to this 80,000 level? Because if you look at the weekly, right, it looks like it still has a little bit more room to go, right? This is the level, right? This is an inside candle of this candle, and that suggests the candle that's engulfing the inside candle, that tells us who is predominantly in control, sellers, right? So looking at this, I would suggest there is a bit more room to the downside, right? But depending on your time horizon, even if you start buying there, right, put stops below here, right, you're still at bargain basement level. Now, you know, famous last words, but Bitcoin would really have to, you know, something drastic would have to happen for it to break that level. It really would. You know, it's proven to be quite a substantial level previously. So if we start breaking around 73.5, then I would stop being interested in buys altogether, right? And just to get a real long-term view, let's have a look at the monthly. Yeah, that is quite the sell-off. But if you know, it's all about perspective really, and your time horizon, right? If you're scalping the 1 minute with Bitcoin, this is irrelevant. But if you're holding Bitcoin as an investment, right, to hold on to for years, you've got to think monthly, we're in an uptrend, right? Higher highs, higher lows, and we're getting in at a really nice price. Can we take it back up to here? So, yeah, I think it's a good buying level for long-term investment in Bitcoin. Okay, so there you go, guys. We have run out of time, but thank you very much for joining me, and I really appreciate all the questions today, guys. Just a couple of things. Please don't forget to join me for the next live stream. So we do this every week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, live stream at 12 p.m. GMT. All right, so come join us for that next week. Also, guys, please go check out the website if you're interested in any of our premium trading education, including the indicator. I know a few of you mentioned it. Please come join our free trading community. Why wouldn't you? It's free. It's a community. You don't have to trade on your own. And also, guys, if you sign up with our preferred broker, Pepperstone, using our link, we will give you free VIP Discord access. All right, so go check it all out, guys. Have a great rest of your trading week, and I will see you soon.